Hey, I'm always trying to streamline my data, so I wanted to show you how I have been using Google Forms to streamline my data collection. I've been using this since the pandemic started. I think it's really nice for reporting for progress. I think it's really nice because right now I'm not trying to do a lot of paper and pencil. And I do work in the schools 3 days a week. So I don't have a full 5 day a week caseload. I know there are some other things like SLP Toolkit that's like a really nice way when you have maybe 60 kids or have those big caseloads. But if you don't have those big caseloads, I think this is a really nice way to capture data so that it's all right there. I always have my computer with me when I'm seeing my students. And so I do the data collection right in the moment for most of the students. Okay, for most of the students. Some students that I see, we are keeping ABA type data collection binders. And so then I don't need my computer. I use the classroom binder. So I would say most of my caseload is Google Forms this year. And then maybe 10 of my students are ABA data collection binders. So I just wanted to talk about this because it seemed like it was kind of popular when I posted it. Across all my different groups. And so this has really kind of helped me as a way to streamline my data collection. I'm always constantly asking myself, is this the easiest way to do this? Am I streamlining things when I go to write progress reports, which actually I'm going to be doing tomorrow when I go in? Is this going to help me get really good information that I can use to help plan my therapy, but then also to report specific data to? So what I do is I go to my Google and then I create a new form. This is a Google form. And then I put the student's name here. I use LeBron James because he's from my hometown and I really love him. So now underneath here, underneath description, you can put whatever you want, but I usually put how much speech therapy the student receives. And then here are some of the goals. You can print them in however you want. I usually copy and paste right from the IEP document. I try to start that data collection sheet as soon as possible. From the IEP meeting, right? I know that sometimes like that's the hardest part is to get the kind of data going. So you can decide here how you want to capture this data. And this is just stuff over time that will make sense to you. I usually do short answer because that's just easiest for me. I'm going to show you what I mean. But there's all different choices, multiple choice, check boxes. You might want to do, different items for percentage. It really depends on how you're particularly taking data. So this one goal, let's say, is when presented with a picture, the student will label the item without prompts. Okay, looks good. When presented the next goal with a verbal model of a functional word, LeBron will imitate the word without prompts over 2 consecutive sessions. I also chose short answer there. The other thing that I really love to do, and this is where it kind of gets nerdy, is that I like to make sure that I add a question and that I put in the date. Because I think that's really, really important, is to make sure that you have the date on there. And this is kind of like your digital footprint, right? Another way to have accountability for your speech therapy sessions. It even looks like you could put time on there. I don't do that because I actually, every week, this is just my system, every week I print my schedule. And then if there's something that happens or there's a student is sick or whatever happens, I cross that off on my schedule and I make a note of that. And I keep all those schedules together. I'm just like very, very kind of neurotic about accountability. If somebody said like, oh, so-and-so didn't get seen for speech, or oh, so-and-so didn't get their 5 sessions this month, I always try to make sure that I have written documentation that, that those services were rendered. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So this is how the Google form looks. And then to fill it out, and there may be an easier way to do this because I do think that there might be a way to have this Google form set up to your Google Calendar so that when you see the students that it's right there. I reached out to my tech team before I made this video to see if there was a way to do that, and I did not get an answer. So if you are a tech whiz and please let me know because I think people would enjoy that. But what I do is I just click on it, I copy it, because now I want to fill it out. I want to show you what it looks like when you fill it out. So then this is what it looks like when you're able to fill it out. So I could put in, we worked on dog, no prompts needed. I'm going to put down the date. I would have made the date higher, but it's there. A model, let's say we're working on Boo Boo. No prompts needed. He had a stellar session. I'm going to submit that. And then that's going to be submitted. Let me show you what it looks like when we get that submitted data. So once we submit that form, then it's going to come up here and it's going to say, oh, we have a response here. So we're going to click on response. We can see our responses. We can see that they took place today, March 22nd, which is nice to have that running log. And then this is really what I think is super helpful. When you go up to your responses, you can click Create Spreadsheet. When I click Create Spreadsheet, it is going to create a list of all the different data entries that I respond with. Now, this is what I think is super, super helpful for progress report time. Okay, so when I go into progress report time, I can look just here and I can see, okay, what did we work on? How long did it take us to mastery? It depends. Sometimes we talk in the course, okay, this is the date we baselined it. It was baselined at 0 on whatever date. And then this is how many sessions it took us to reach mastery. And this spreadsheet will be like a really nice running log for you. So this has been really helpful for me because I do have my Chromebook a lot for those types of students. Now, if you have students who have an ABA binder and you're having to paper and pen, that's completely fine. I'm still taking data that way too for some students. But for other students, or if I'm seeing students virtually, this has actually been a really nice option for me. And I love this spreadsheet option when it's progress report time, just because I go in and I'm like, boop, 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 and I can see everything that they've done. So just to kind of revamp the process, what I do is I start a new Google form, and then I just copy and paste the IEP goals into that. I also include the date because I like to have a running log. See, because here's the timestamp. Okay. Then after I get that first response, I say create spreadsheet. It's that little green button at the top. And then that spreadsheet is going to turn into this so that you can look and see come progress report time the exact data that you took. Also, it's a nice barometer for me sometimes too to say like, oh man, we haven't worked on this particular goal enough. I didn't hit on this objective enough, and why was that? Kind of lets you analyze that as well. So I hope that's helpful. This has been really helpful for me to streamline data collection. As you know, I'm always kind of thinking about data, and I'm always kind of thinking about my work processes and how to make my life easier because it's a lot. We have to do a lot. So anyway, if you guys have questions about this, let me know.